Audiobook Academy Biography presents Mark Zuckerberg. Facebook's co-founder and CEO, Mark Zuckerberg, is also one of the world's youngest billionaires at the age of 32. Facebook was co-founded by Mark Zuckerberg in his dorm room at Harvard University. To focus on the site's growth, Zuckerberg dropped out of college at the end of his sophomore year, making him a billionaire many times over. The Social Network, a 2010 film, depicted the beginnings of Facebook. Early years. He was born May 14, 1984, in White Plains, New York, to a well-off family with a college degree. Dobbs Ferry, a nearby town, was his home of upbringing for him as a child. Edward Zuckerberg, the father of Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg, maintained a dental practice out of their house. Prior to the birth of the couple's 4 children, Mark's mother, Karen, was a psychiatrist. His first computer project was an Atari Basic program called ZUCKERBERG, created at the tender age of 12 using Atari Basic. The receptionist at his father's dental clinic could utilize the program to tell him of a new patient without shouting across the room, thanks to his father. ZUCKERBERG was also utilized by the family for internal communication. He and his pals also made computer games for purely amusement purposes. Several of his buddies were painters, he revealed. In the past, they'd come over, and I'd make a game out of their drawings. Educational background. Private computer instructor David Newman was engaged by Zuckerberg's mother and father to work with their son on his growing interest in computers. When the prodigy began attending graduate courses at nearby Mercy College around this time, Newman said to reporters that it was difficult to keep up. After graduating from Phillips Exeter Academy, a New Hampshire preparatory school, Zuckerberg attended Harvard Business School. During his time at the school, he excelled in fencing, becoming the school's fencing captain. He also did well in school, graduating with honors in classics. Although he had grown bored with computers, Zuckerberg continued to concentrate on creating new ones. He developed an early version of Pandora, which he dubbed Synapse, while still in high school. Several corporations, including AOL and Microsoft, indicated an interest in purchasing the program and recruiting the adolescent before he or she graduated. He turned them down. College. He began his studies at Harvard after graduating from Exeter in 2002. Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg dropped out of college after his sophomore year so that he could devote himself full-time to the company. He had established himself as the go-to software developer on campus by the end of his second year at the Ivy League school. An application called Course Match, which let students select classes based on the choices of other users, was created at that time. In addition, he created FaciMash, a website that allowed people to vote on which of 2 students they thought was more attractive. This popular program was shut down by the school administration due to concerns about its content. Devi Narendra and twin Winklevoss brothers Cameron and Tyler approached him to collaborate on an idea for a social networking site they called Harvard Connection, based on his prior initiatives. As a dating site for Harvard's elite, this site was built using data from Harvard's student networks. However, he quickly backed out of the project and started working on his own social networking site, Facebook. Zuckerberg and Facebook. The Facebook was established by Mark Zuckerberg, Dustin Moskovitz, Chris Hughes, and Eduardo Saverin. It allowed users to create their own accounts, upload images, and connect with one another. Until June 2004, the site was operated out of a Harvard University dorm room. He quit college and transferred the company to Palo Alto, California. In the year that he did so, Facebook had 1 million users by the year's end in 2004. Excel Partners, a venture capital firm, invested heavily in Zuckerberg's business in 2005. It was solely open to Ivy League students when Excel invested the $12.7 million. More than 5.5 million people used the site by December 2005 as Zuckerberg's company opened it up to other universities as well as high schools and international schools. Companies began to take notice of the site and desired to promote on the well-known social hub. Zuckerberg rejected proposals from Yahoo and MTV networks because he didn't want to sell out. Instead, he concentrated on extending the site, allowing independent developers to work on it, and adding new functions. Lawsuits and the Harvard Connection. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg appeared to be heading nowhere but up. But in 2006, Facebook's first big challenge came when the Harvard Connection creators alleged that Zuckerberg had stolen their idea and demanded compensation for their losses. Zuckerberg insisted that the concepts were derived from 2 distinct but related forms of social media. Zuckerberg may have stolen Harvard Connection's intellectual property and sold the personal information of Facebook users to his buddies after his records were inspected by lawyers. Later, Zuckerberg apologized for the remarks, stating he was sorry for posting them. To establish a service that is important and relied upon by a large number of people, you need maturity, he stated in an interview with The New Yorker in 2012. This has been a great experience for me, she said. Narendra and the Winklevosses claimed that they were misled about the value of their stock, despite an initial settlement of $65 million being struck between the two parties. The Social Network film. The Social Network, a film written and directed by Aaron Sorkin, was released in theaters in 2010. A total of 8 Academy Award nominations were given to the highly regarded film. Ben Mesrich's 2009 book, The Accidental Billionaires, served as the inspiration for Sorkin's screenplay. For his retelling of Zuckerberg's story using manufactured settings, reimagined dialogue, and imaginary people, Mesrich received a lot of criticism. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg expressed his displeasure with the film's plot and claimed to a reporter for The New Yorker that many of the information were false. Zuckerberg's long-term girlfriend, for example, had been dating the Facebook founder since 2003. He also stated that he has no interest in joining any of the remaining clubs. It's interesting what they focused on getting right, like, every single garment and fleece that I had in that movie is actually a shirt or fleece that I own, Zuckerberg said to a reporter at a startup conference in 2010. They got a lot of things wrong, but there were also some random aspects that they got right. Despite the skepticism, Zuckerberg and Facebook continued to grow and prosper. In 2010, he was voted Person of the Year by Time magazine, and he was selected the Best New Establishment Figure by Vanity Fair. IPO of Facebook. Facebook's IPO in May 2012 raised $16 billion, making it the most successful internet IPO ever. The Facebook stock price fell slightly in the first few days of trade following the initial success of the IPO, but Zuckerberg is expected to weather any market fluctuations. At just 28 years of age, Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg became the youngest CEO on the Fortune 500 list. The Cambridge Analytica scandal and fake news. Fake news was widely circulated on Zuckerberg's site in the run-up to the 2016 U.S. presidential election. To start off 2018, he set himself the goal of improving Facebook's defenses against national state meddling and abuse. Other New Year's resolutions include only eating meat from animals he has killed himself and learning Mandarin. There will always be mistakes and abuse, but we are currently making too many mistakes enforcing our policies and preventing misuse of our resources, he said on his Facebook page. As long as we're successful this year, 2018 will have a lot better outlook. It wasn't long before Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg came under fire for allowing a data business linked to President Trump's 2016 campaign to access 87 million Facebook users' private information without their permission. There seemed to be an outcry once the news broke, with Facebook's stock falling by 15%. Then, after a few days of silence, Zuckerberg appeared on a variety of media channels to explain how the business was taking efforts to limit third-party developers' access to user information and said he would be delighted to testify before Congress. Ads in 7 British and 3 American newspapers penned in the form of an apology from Mark Zuckerberg appeared on Sunday, March 25, in the shape of full-page ads. His commitment was to investigate all of the company's apps and remind users of which ones they can turn off. "It's my fault for not doing more at the time," he writes. "In the future, I'll do better for you, I swear." In anticipation of his 2-day congressional hearing, set for April 10 and 11, Zuckerberg came to Washington, D.C., to meet with senators amid growing calls for his resignation from investor organizations. In the Senate Commerce and Judiciary Committee hearings, which began on Monday, some senators appeared to be baffled by the business model that underpins the social media giant's operations. When Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg was called back to testify in front of the House Energy and Commerce Committee, things got much more heated. According to Zuckerberg's statement during the hearing, Cambridge Analytica had access to some of his personal data. He also said that governmental regulation of Facebook and other social media businesses was inevitable. Assets of one's own. As of July 6, 2018, Facebook's stock closed at a record high of $203.23 per share, despite the unfavorable publicity surrounding the 2016 election and Cambridge Analytica controversy. He overtook Warren Buffett to become the world's third richest person, behind Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates, as a result of the increase. Facebook's stock fell 19% on July 26 after its earnings release indicated that it had fallen short of analysts' revenue estimates and that user growth had slowed. In a single day, about $16 billion of Zuckerberg's personal wealth vanished. Facebook's shares increased in value and are now among the world's wealthiest people. When it came to billionaires in 2019, Forbes ranked Facebook creator Mark Zuckerberg 8th, just behind Microsoft founder Bill Gates, number 2, but above Google co-founders Larry Page, number 10, and Sergey Brin, 15. Number 14. According to the magazine's calculations, he was worth $62.3 billion at the time of publication. Libra. Facebook said in June 2019 that it would be entering the cryptocurrency market in 2020 with the introduction of Libra. For its financial infrastructure, Facebook created a Switzerland-based oversight company called Libra Association, which includes Spotify and Andreessen Horowitz, as well as a number of other digital companies and venture capital firms. As a result of the revelations, Congress has scheduled a hearing with Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg for October. Although Facebook had promised to leave the Libra Association if regulators refused to approve the project, Zuckerberg was grilled by MPs who mentioned the Cambridge Analytica scandal and other previous misdeeds. Marriage. After meeting Priscilla Chan, an American-born Chinese medical student, while attending Harvard, Zuckerberg married her in 2012. A day after Facebook's first public offering, IPO, the long-term couple got married. The wedding ceremony was held in the couple's Palo Alto, California home in front of about 100 guests. Chan's graduation from medical school had been mistaken for Zuckerberg and Chan's wedding ceremony. The children of Mark Zuckerberg, Max, born on November 30, 2015, and August, born on August 28, 2017, are Zuckerberg's two daughters. On Facebook, the couple broke the news that they were expecting twins. When Zuckerberg became a father for the first time, he stated he would take 2 months off work to be with his newborn son, Max. Donations and causes supported by Mark Zuckerberg. Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg has donated millions of dollars to charitable organizations since building up a sizable fortune. In one of his most significant acts, he contributed $100 million to Newark Public Schools in New Jersey in September of 2010. He then signed the Giving Pledge, pledging to donate at least half of his net worth over the course of his lifetime to charitable causes, in December 2010. Others who have signed the Giving Pledge include Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, and George Lucas. Zuck urged on other young and rich entrepreneurs to follow suit after his donation. If you're in your 30s or 40s, you're in a great position to give back early in your life and witness the impact of your philanthropic efforts, he added. In an open letter to their daughter in November 2015, Mark Zuckerberg and Priscilla Chan wrote that they will donate 99% of their Facebook stock to charity. On Zuckerberg's Facebook page, the pair penned an open letter in which they pledged to do our modest part to help create this world for all children. This planet, for the future generation, needs us to give away 99% of our Facebook shares, which are currently worth roughly $45 billion. They declared in September 2016 that they would contribute at least $3 billion over the next decade towards scientific research through their Chan Zuckerberg Initiative, CZI, the business into which they put their Facebook shares, to assist cure, prevent and manage all diseases in our children's lifetime. Bargman, a neuroscientist and president of science at the Rockefeller University, was chosen to the post. A new San Francisco-based autonomous research facility, the Chan Zuckerberg BioHub, has also been unveiled, and it will house scientists from a wide range of disciplines, including engineers, computer scientists, biologists, and chemists. To kickstart its operations, BioHub will receive an initial investment of $600 million spread out over 10 years from Stanford University, the University of California, San Francisco, and the University of California, Berkeley. Thank you for listening in Audiobook Academy. Don't forget to subscribe and smash that like button for more content like this. See you in next video.